Betelgeuse was hiding another star. And that star is already doomed. For over a century, astronomers stared at Betelgeuse, one of the brightest, most famous stars in our night sky, and had no idea something else was sitting right next to it. Something small, something faint, something that's now being confirmed to exist and is on a countdown to destruction. Stick with me, because this story has everything. A century-long mystery, a race against time with some of NASA's most powerful telescopes, and an ending that is, honestly, kind of heartbreaking. Let's start from the beginning. If you've ever looked up at the constellation Orion, you've seen Betelgeuse without even trying. It's that reddish-orange star marking the hunter's shoulder, impossible to miss. It's one of the most observed, most photographed, most talked about stars in the entire sky. Betelgeuse is a red supergiant, and when scientists say supergiant, they are not exaggerating. This star is roughly 700 times the radius of our Sun. If you swapped our Sun out and dropped Betelgeuse into the center of our solar system, it wouldn't just swallow Earth, it wouldn't just swallow Mars, it would reach out past the orbit of Jupiter. It's also about 16 to 18 times more massive than our Sun, and it shines thousands of times brighter. And despite being only around 10 million years old, a fraction of the age of our Sun, Betelgeuse has already burned through the hydrogen at its core. It is, in stellar terms, an old soul living fast and dying young, which brings us to the moment that changed everything. Back in late 2019 and into early 2020, Betelgeuse did something it had never done in recorded history. It dimmed, dramatically. So dramatically that astronomers around the world started asking the same terrifying question. Is this it? Is Betelgeuse about to go supernova, right now, in our lifetime? That event became known as the Great Dimming, and for a few months, it had the entire astronomy community on edge. Eventually, researchers figured out what happened. Betelgeuse hadn't started dying. It had ejected a massive cloud of dust, and that cloud briefly blocked some of its light from reaching us. Crisis averted, for now. But the Great Dimming did something important. It turned a global spotlight onto Betelgeuse, and astronomers started digging back through old data, looking for anything else strange about this star. And that's when they noticed something that had been hiding in plain sight for decades. Betelgeuse doesn't just flicker randomly. It has a primary pulsation cycle of about 400 days, which was already well known. But layered on top of that, there was a second, longer cycle, one that stretched across roughly 6 years, or about 2,170 days. Nobody could fully explain it. And when you can't explain a repeating pattern in a star's brightness, there's usually one prime suspect. Something is orbiting it. In 2024, a researcher named Jared Goldberg proposed a theory. What if Betelgeuse has a companion star, one small enough to stay hidden, but large enough to sweep away pockets of light-blocking dust as it orbits? That motion, he argued, could explain why Betelgeuse periodically appears to brighten and dim on this longer 6-year rhythm. It was a compelling idea, but it was still just a theory. Nobody had actually seen this companion, not once, in over 100 years of watching this star. So the question became, could anyone actually catch it? Here's the problem. Betelgeuse is absurdly, almost comically bright. Trying to spot a small companion star next to it has been compared to trying to photograph a firefly sitting directly next to a car's headlight. The glare simply overwhelms everything nearby. But astronomers had one advantage: math. If a companion really existed on a roughly 6-year orbit, they could calculate exactly when it would be at its farthest point from Betelgeuse, giving them the best possible shot at spotting it before it swung back around and disappeared into the glare again. That moment was calculated to land around December 6, 2024, and so began a genuine race against the clock. A team using the Gemini North Telescope in Hawaii aimed a specialized high-resolution imaging instrument called Alopeke directly at Betelgeuse during that narrow window. On July 21, 2025, after analyzing the data, the team announced it. They had captured a faint, compact source sitting right where the companion was predicted to be. After more than 100 years of speculation, astronomers had finally, probably, directly imaged Betelgeuse's hidden partner. They nicknamed it Betelbuddy. Now, I want to be honest with you here, because this channel isn't about hype, it's about what the data actually says. This first detection was faint, right at the edge of what the telescope could resolve. Scientists rated its confidence at what's called 1.5 sigma, which in plain language means probable, exciting, but not yet 100% locked in. Some researchers, like Professor Edward Guinan of Villanova University, described it as not yet a slam dunk. Real science doesn't always hand you a clean, dramatic reveal. Sometimes it hands you a faint smudge of light and says, "We're pretty confident, now let's go prove it." And that's exactly what happened next. Later in 2025, a separate team from Carnegie Mellon University decided to test the discovery from a completely different angle. They secured extremely rare, high-priority observing time on both NASA's Chandra X-ray Observatory and the Hubble Space Telescope. Their goal: figure out exactly what kind of star this companion actually is. Going in, most researchers expected one of two options: either a white dwarf, the collapsed leftover core of a star that already died, or a neutron star, an even more extreme collapsed remnant. Both would make sense next to an aging supergiant like Betelgeuse, but that's not what they found. The data showed no evidence of accretion, which is the telltale sign you'd expect from a dead, collapsed star pulling in surrounding material. Instead, everything pointed to something completely unexpected: a young stellar object, roughly the size of our Sun, and around 1.5 times its mass. Not a dying husk of a star, a young one, still forming. Think about how strange that is. Betelgeuse is a massive, ancient supergiant just steps away from the end of its life. And orbiting right next to it is a smaller star that's essentially still a stellar toddler, on the verge of joining the main sequence. Researcher Anna O'Grady, who led that study, put it simply: the brightness difference between these two stars is, in her words, absolutely insane. And here's where it gets even stranger for astronomers who study binary star systems. Most binary stars form with somewhat similar masses. Two stars that grew up together tend to be, roughly, in the same weight class. But Betelgeuse comes in at 16 to 18 times the mass of our Sun. Its companion is barely 1 solar mass. That is an extreme mass ratio, and it's forcing scientists to reconsider how binary systems like this can even form in the first place. Then, in January of 2026, a follow-up study using Hubble added even more evidence. Astronomers detected what they're calling a wake, a trailing structure of gas and plasma stretching out behind the companion as it plows through Betelgeuse's outer atmosphere. It's essentially a visible trail left behind by a small star, dragging itself through the edge of a giant one. That wake isn't just cool to look at. It's more proof that this companion is real, and it's actively interacting with Betelgeuse in ways scientists are only beginning to understand. So, at this point, you might be thinking, incredible, mystery solved, happy ending. Betelgeuse has a companion, and now we finally understand its strange 6-year brightness cycle. Except there's a problem, a big one. This tiny companion star, sitting so close to Betelgeuse that its orbit is smaller than the distance between our Sun and Jupiter, is not safe, not even close. Betelgeuse is a red supergiant nearing the true end of its life. At some point, and nobody can tell you exactly when, it is going to run out of fuel completely and detonate as a core collapse supernova. As one of the lead researchers put it bluntly, that could happen tomorrow. It could happen in 100 years. In cosmic terms, both answers mean basically the same thing: soon. If Betelgeuse explodes before its tiny companion drifts away, the companion will be obliterated in the blast, completely destroyed, along with any hope of studying it further. And even if Betelgeuse somehow holds off on exploding, there's still no escape, because the companion's orbit is decaying, slowly spiraling inward. Scientists estimate that within the next 10,000 years, this small young star will be pulled in and consumed entirely by Betelgeuse itself, merging into the very star it's been quietly orbiting all along. One researcher summed up the situation about as honestly as science ever does. The future is not good for either star. So this isn't just a story about a hidden discovery. It's a story about a star that scientists spent over 100 years trying to find, only to confirm that the moment they found it, its fate was already sealed. There's actually one more twist. Astronomers now believe the companion won't be visible again through our telescopes until November of 2027, when its orbit carries it back out to its farthest point from Betelgeuse. Right now, it's swinging behind the glare of its massive neighbor, hidden once again, which means, in a strange way, Betelgeuse is still hiding it, just like it did for over a century. And this discovery is opening up bigger questions too. If a star as closely studied as Betelgeuse could hide a companion for this long, what about other supergiants out there, like Antares or Arcturus, stars that show similar strange long-term brightness cycles? Scientists are now wondering if they might be hiding companions of their own. What strikes me most about this story isn't just the science, it's the timing of it all. For over 100 years, humanity looked at this star and had no idea it wasn't alone. And the exact moment we finally proved it, we also proved it's running out of time. That's the strange, almost poetic reality of studying the universe. Sometimes the discovery and the ending arrive together. If stories like this genuinely fascinate you, hit subscribe, because Nebulon X covers discoveries like this the moment real data comes in. No fluff, no fake claims, just what the science actually shows. And I want to hear from you. If you had to guess, do you think Betelgeuse will explode before its companion gets consumed? Or do you think the little star gets pulled in first? Drop your prediction in the comments. I read every single one. See you in the next video.